is a great opportunity for the center, for the joint relation between the city of Valladolid and Ahmedabad to be able to host or launch this unique program. And one of the unique part of this program is that Ahmedabad and Valladolid is a kind of going a long way to support each other initiative. So it is a long journey, and it has been initiated. It is a unique experience, and we would like to share it with the whole world, whole India, and use it as a part of our academic process. And the exhibition outside, if you go through properly, you'll see that how this thing has been happened with the real participation of the people. Thank you very much.
It's a great pleasure and a privilege to be here representing the tourism department of the state of Gujarat. Gujarat has always been known for its economic development. In fact, we are in the forefront in the country. But of late, it's been tourism that we are talking about in Gujarat. Tourism in Gujarat was something which was unheard of up to quite some time back. Last 2-3 years, people have stood up and taken note of the fact that tourism also happens in Gujarat. A growth rate of more than 15% in the last 3 years, year on year, which is something, if not the highest, among the highest in the country. This is what Gujarat tourism is growing at, the rate at which it's growing. We have everything to offer: beaches, wildlife, desert, hill station, everything except maybe the snow. But that also is coming in, the artificial snow, how you have in Hyderabad or near or overseas in Dubai. Something of that kind also is going to happen in Ahmedabad. Last but not least, it's the rich heritage of Gujarat, which we are focusing at this point in time. Heritage tourism is one of the largest and fastest growing segments globally. Normally people travel, this is a niche segment which travels to look at heritage only, to gain a deep understanding of the culture. And as we see it in tourism, generally, the segment which travels to see heritage is the high spending kind. Looking at very selfishly as a tourism professional, I would prefer tourists who spend more because it generates and contributes to the economy of the state or the country. As Debashish was saying, the initiative which we have started, preserving, preserving the heritage status of Ahmedabad. Now, it is very important to know that government is taking all steps, but then it has to be, there has to be help from different agencies, not within the government, who have to take lead. And in this effort, I would commend what Ahmedabad University is doing, and got in the University of Valladolid. In fact, when Mr. Debashish had come about 3 months back, when they had come, the Vice Chancellor of the University from Spain, we were quite buoyed and were very excited about this whole concept of having professional help, helping us restore, preserve, and market it at a later stage. In the government, we are very clear. We are for preserving heritage properties, restoring it first, preserving it, and second, hand-holding them and marketing these properties. In fact, the tourism policy in the state is on its way, it's being drafted, and we are looking at options wherein incentives can be given to preserve these heritage properties. Apart from that, the initiatives from the private sector or agencies not within the government, we are very open in the government, and in fact, we would be joining hands with Ahmedabad University to take up projects which furthers this cause of preserving not only Ahmedabad. I am sure that Debashish and his efficient team have started this with Ahmedabad, and you would go over to the rest of the state. And any initiative which needs, I would take the liberty of saying that Gujarat, whatever we do, we try to excel in whichever field we are. Why not heritage? And the best way to learn or do something good is, in a better way, is to learn from best practices within the world, within the country and within the world. And I see there's no better place than taking the expertise from Spain. And this collaboration, this association with the Spanish University would go a long way, and not only in helping us learn from their experiences, but probably make it better than them. Is it not, Debashish? Yeah. All the best from the government. Rest assured, both the universities, that we have all our support. And also, it's very encouraging to see that the Spanish government is also behind this, supporting them In fact, we are discussing just before this program started. I was discussing with one of the officers from the mission. There are lots of exciting opportunities which he briefed me about, and then we would definitely try and take it forward. And exchange of culture there's no better way for bonding between two countries other than exchange of culture. And my best wishes, and again I reiterate that we are open. We will be giving all kinds of support. Thank you.
At the very outset, I would like to express our gratitude from Ahmedabad University to His Excellency, the Ambassador for Spain, for giving us this opportunity to promote some of our educational activities that we have now decided to get involved in collaboration with one of the oldest universities in Europe, the University of Valladolid. It traces its origin to more than 8 centuries ago. In fact, last year they celebrated the 800 years, and we were also invited to go there, but unfortunately could not be present. We did subsequently visit Valladolid and spent some interesting time interacting with all there. As you all are aware, India has been the cradle of civilization, going back to thousands of years ago, and Gujarat in particular has been part of that ancient civilization. As recent evidence has become available, we are now finding societies which existed a few thousand years ago and were about the same time as the Mohenjo-daro societies that existed 5,000 years ago. So Gujarat has indeed a very rich heritage, and it is rather unfortunate that we in India have not been able to use our heritage to promote a wide variety of interests within our society, and also to use it for purposes of bringing in people into the country to understand us better and to promote our country. India has enjoyed very friendly relationships with Spain going back to 1956, when in fact the Spanish government set up its first embassy here, and subsequently, of course, India opened its embassy in Spain. So it's more than 50 years that we have been working together. There's a great deal of international trade that happens between the two countries. It's now currently at somewhere near $4 billion, with exports from India being about twice the imports from Spain into India. And of course, we hope to export more of it. But when we were looking at partners at Ahmedabad University, which itself, by the way, is very young, we're just 4 years old, which got created under the Public-Private Partnership Act in the state of Gujarat. We were looking at collaborations with some of the established institutions in Europe and North America. And Valladolid was one of the universities we wanted to get together with, which had a very rich tradition of using heritage for its academic programs, and indeed had a master's program going in architecture and heritage. We also wanted to be part of that. And last year, when we traveled to Valladolid, we had proposed this idea of using tourism to promote heritage, and we should have a program in which people from India would learn from the experiences of Spain, and the Spanish delegates would come to India and understand our heritage and how it could be leveraged. That this has caught the imagination of the government of Gujarat, to some extent the government of India, and above all, the Spanish diplomats in Delhi, has indeed encouraged us to proceed further with this whole concept. And as I said earlier, we are particularly grateful to His Excellency for giving us a great deal of motivation to keep working on this concept and promoting it further. I would like to mention to you that we are in fact currently working on a master's level program in the area of heritage management, which would have both inputs from the field of heritage as well as management, and this should become a reality in another year or two. And this program also will be conducted in collaboration with the University of Valladolid, whereby participants from both countries would have opportunities to study in each other's country and use heritage for unlocking value. It has been our experience that in all such activities, while there is a great deal of sensitivity and understanding with our governments, the people have to get truly involved. And until and unless the people recognize their heritage and take over its ownership, protection, preservation, and indeed ultimately promotion, we will not be able to go very far. All these programs that we are looking at are to generate their interest and make it an economic proposition which is viable with sufficient talent coming from the education system. And this is the effort that we have launched. It is indeed a great pleasure for all of us, and I must say we are also fortunate to have associated with us in this Center of Heritage Management, which is 2 years old. It got formed 2 years after the university came into existence. We are indeed very fortunate to have with us Debashish Nayak as our first director of the center, and Mr. C.K. Koshi, who was responsible for setting up the Gujarat Tourism Development Corporation many, many years ago. They are both actively associated with us. We look forward to this partnership with the Spanish government. We also look forward to our partnership with Valladolid. And I must mention to you, we're indeed very happy that we also have associated with us in this endeavor the CII in India and the Spain-India Foundation, as well as Casa de India in Spain. We hope to interact further. We hope to promote this activity much more. And this is not just an educational proposition. It is a proposition to promote a better understanding of people, not within our own country, but also across our borders. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you today.
Spain is a country that has roughly 3,500 years of history. It is therefore younger than India. That is probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest nation on earth. India has one of the richest historic heritage in the world, and probably some of the most amazing architecture that can be found anywhere on the face of this earth. In a modern society, in a society that wants to preserve its origin, respect its past, admire its history, and definitely create jobs and prosperity through tourism and through history, there is no better way than to highlight, to preserve, and to restore our national historic heritage. Spain is the second country in the world to have more sites declared Patrimony of Mankind, World Patrimony, after Italy. And we're almost there. Every year there's a new addition to the list. And right now, Spain receives 62 million tourists a year. India only receives a tenth of that, a little over a tenth of that. India has immense potential, infinite potential as a historic tourism country. I am extremely pleased, and I must convey to all of you the admiration that I feel for the authorities of the state of Gujarat, the city of Ahmedabad, and the University of Ahmedabad for this very crucial initiative. The University of Valladolid, which actually is the oldest in Spain, because it comes from, it is the heir of the Estudio General de Palencia. Most people think it's Salamanca that is the oldest. In fact, it's Valladolid, because it is, as I say, the heir or the successor of the Estudio General de Palencia, which is the oldest. There was no continuity to that. The University of Valladolid, by the way, is a very prestigious one. My father also went there, and he studied in El Colegio Mayor Santa Cruz, building, a wonderful building that today is the seat of the presidency of the University of El Rectorado. The city of Valladolid is one of the most historic cities in Spain, has been the capital of Spain for some time under the Catholic King and Queen, and whoever has visited the city knows that it is one of the most important cities as far as the economy is concerned, but most significantly the historic point of view. I don't know if we are able to grasp the importance that tourism, historic tourism, has for the economy. If you see what happens in countries that are world tourism powers like Spain, France, or Italy, a good chunk of the tourists that visit those countries every year actually go to historic sites and monuments. In Spain, less than probably Italy, but again, we're getting there. Can you imagine what that could do to the whole of India, and not only to Ahmedabad and the state of Gujarat, that I have seen, by the way, an extremely intelligent and attractive promotion of your historic sites with your advertising on TV. This is exactly the way. I want to encourage all of you to think of the potential that your country has, of the wonderful temples, of the castles, of the fortresses, of the walled cities, of the old mosques, of the old trails. The possibilities are infinite. Your history is one of the longest in the world, one of the most attractive, and one of the deepest. There is also the link between history, heritage, and spirituality. And that, again, very few countries in the world have it, and India is probably the world power, or the first world power in this sphere. You can count on our help. We don't have many means. We do have a lot of ideas, and we're trying to put them together. We are giving as much support to the authorities of the state of Gujarat, the city of Ahmedabad, and the University of Ahmedabad to pursue their projects. When we had a meeting some time back, as a consequence of the official visit of my deputy to the state of Gujarat, I thought it was a great idea, and that it was going to be most likely one of our star projects. We are a very active nation. Although we do face some very serious economic difficulties that we're getting out of, we know that the only way out of crisis, of unemployment, of economic mayhem is to work harder, to look for new opportunities, to see that sometimes the solution is right in front of our eyes. Maybe the house across our street. Maybe that palace that we neglected for so long. Maybe the knowledge that we should have and we didn't. Maybe the history that didn't interest us and should have. That is wealth. And that makes countries better, wealthier, more prosperous, and more progressive. I want to invite you to have some Spanish wine after these few words that I want to give to you. Of course, we are in times of some kind of austerity, but we have made a little effort so that we can have something to eat and something to drink after my words. I want to reiterate my gratitude. I want to encourage you to further work, to deepen your efforts. You have in the Spanish Embassy and in myself not only a supporter of your excellent work and your very brilliant ideas, but a real friend. I am sure that I will continue to come to India way after my tenure is over. I have made some of my best friends in the world in these 15 months that I have had the honor to serve in this country. And you can be absolutely sure that this is only going to be the first step of similar initiatives around the country, because this is one of the world's foremost powers in history and in heritage. And we are going to do our best in the limits, within the limits of our possibilities, to help enhance the knowledge and the prestige of India's history in Spain, and therefore in Latin America and in the rest of Europe. Thank you very much.